Hello and welcome back to Blue Crescent Tarot. My name is Deanne and I am back after a few weeks, I think, with another video. I had started a little mini series maybe on crystal and chakra associations with a particular deck that I use, and I'm going to get back to that, but I wanted to take a little break since it's been a while since I've been able to record. I wanted to kind of shake things up a little bit, and I thought today that I would talk about some different tarot and oracle mashups or layering that I use in readings. And so before I started recording, I thought I would just draw one in one from the decks that I'm going to show tonight and see just what comes up, and kind of just did a little practice run, and I liked it so much that I thought I would start out our video today with this example. So I'm using for the tarot deck the Prisma Visions, and this is one of my super favorite decks. Just really awesome. It kind of creates scenes when you put sequential cards laid out in order. And aside from that, it's just really cool, warm colors. This always reminds me of like a bonfire. I don't know, just the images and the art style and everything. So if you haven't checked this out, I really highly recommend the Prisma Visions. I think there are maybe 4 editions or something like that, and each one I believe comes with a different like bonus card. So I don't even know which edition I have. I'm not very good with that kind of thing. Oh, this is the 4th edition. This is by James R. Eads, by the way, E-A-D-S. So anyway, super favorite deck. And the tarot card that I drew from that is the 4 of Wands. So this is the tarot card that we're going to use for this mashup, I guess is what I'm calling this. So then the oracle deck that I decided to use is the Sacred Rebels, and this I got secondhand on like a buy-sell trade group on Facebook, and it came with a few other decks. Was super reasonable. I love finding a good deal like that. You can get lots of, I mean, it's almost brand new, really good condition. So that's definitely something I suggest too, is getting into a few Facebook groups for buy sell trade, and you can come across some really good finds. So this is a Blue Angel deck. I believe this is still, I think both of these decks are still available in some form or another, some edition or another. I believe Prisma Visions maybe is on an additional edition. But I'm not sure. So anyway, I think they're both still available. So these are the 2 that I'm using, Prisma Visions and Sacred Rebels Oracle. And just to kind of show how I might use these together in readings. Now, today I'm probably just showing one tarot and one oracle at a time until I get my camera situation figured out a little better. I tend to use really big kind of spreads, I guess, or a big web is what I called it when I was growing up, and I didn't really know what I was doing by the book, so to speak. But so I'm going to try to figure out how to show some of what I do with Romany spreads, basically, and I use all kinds of different layering on those. So it's a big spread to start with, and then I kind of layer all kinds of junk on top, though not really junk, you know. So 4 of Wands is the first card I drew, and card number 38, Restore and Replenish, is the oracle card that I drew. So I think together that these work really well, and I guess let's start with the numerology. So a 4 for me can mean a lot of things, but typically stability, this sense of groundedness and being kind of practical. And if we're thinking about stillness or motion, that's definitely a stillness number. And so that works out well with the Restore and Replenish idea with the oracle card. So we can look at these 2 and say, yeah, they really kind of match up. 4 of Wands is about taking that time out, rest, reflect, and Restore and Replenish kind of goes right along with that. similar kinds of energies. However, the colors in this oracle card are kind of making me think more like Four Pentacles kind of energy. So then how I might use these is say, okay, well, how are they different? So the fire energy with the wands here is going to be just in and of itself, that Four of Wands is kind of a juxtaposition for me. When I see that, I'm like, oh, one thing wants to go and one thing wants to stay. So we have that kind of balance to work out. And what I would probably tell someone if I was offering a reading is that the Four is that stillness and stability, taking time out to rest. And the Wands element is that fire and that wanting to go and carry through with your flow and be motivated and determined and all of that. So what I might say is take time to rest and reflect honestly and just sink into that energy, and then go into another phase of stillness, but use that kind of in between time for planning. Use that, the passion you have for whatever this pathway is, take that time to plan and get detailed and kind of draw your map for what's next, and then finally take that action. So if we put them in this order, then rest and reflect, and then this maybe is the planning phase. So again, with this also maybe becoming a little mini series, just like a tarot and oracle mashup, I think I might call it, and just say, if I'm using two particular decks and these two particular cards come up, this is how I might use them. So that's sort of the concept about maybe using what you have in different ways. Maybe if you don't use tarot and oracle together, or maybe if you don't use them together on a regular basis, or maybe on a card-to-card basis. I know a lot of people will work their tarot spread and work their tarot reading, and then they might draw an oracle card to sort of sum up what that reading is. And that's something I do as well. I really love that. If there are different themes emerging in the tarot reading, and I just kind of want to solidify what's that main point, or what's that, okay, let's get that confirmation of what that next step is, and then use the oracle card to kind of tie all of that together. I think that's beautiful. But just to kind of get those oracle decks off the shelf, maybe if it's not something you use as much, or if it's something maybe you use as an altar card or a daily draw, again, nothing wrong with that. But I was just trying to think of a way, just kind of listening to themes I hear in this community, that maybe if you want, you can interject those oracle cards a little more, if that's something you want to play around with. Get them used a little more. So there's one example. Hopefully this is making sense. And so I'll just do a quick shuffle here for the Prisma Visions, and we'll draw one, because to be fair, I drew those before we started just to kind of get myself in the moment, and decided I would use that. So if we're shuffling again here for Prisma Visions, let's see. We have Seven Pentacles. Nice warm golden tones with this one. Seven Pentacles, that worker card, this person here kind of tending the field. And let's see what our oracle card is from Sacred Rebels Oracle to go with this. Okay, those are feeling good. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Oh, that sounds deep. Okay, so Seven Pentacles again here for our tarot card, and then number 26 from the Sacred Rebels is relax. Hold on. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause, right? So if we have a hold on the darkness, relax that, right? So maybe you've been doing a lot of shadow work, and maybe you're sinking too much into that energy, and it's time to let go of that a little bit, right? Sometimes we get into that shadow work, and maybe if you're really good at it, maybe it's hard to get out. So that's just what this is making me think. I don't know. I could read from the book here as well, but I'm just kind of thinking, this is making me think someone's gone on this deep dive, and maybe it's time for them to climb out, right? Maybe they're digging too much into those details, and it's time for a little shift in that energy. I'm all about working through examining that shadow work, but there's been this sort of kickback about light and love and positive energy, right? And I get it. We don't want to be there all the time. We don't want to ignore the shadow side. I'm in 100% agreement there, but we maybe shouldn't make light and love out to be the villain, right? We have to remember to get into that sometimes. Gratitude is what helps us move through some of those shadow work obstacles. So I like this because it's a really good balance of that. This person is crouched down on the trunk of a tree, and then we have this sort of light energy coming up, right? It's kind of saying, okay, you went down to the bottom, it's time to come back up now. What did you learn there? And how can you transform that shadow energy into light, right? So all about that balance. So together, this 7 Pentacles, maybe we're thinking, you know, it's that earth element, which works well with this oracle card, right? Earthy, tree kind of energy, and this person here, we have cultivating and harvesting, kind of taking inventory of what you've been working on, right? In some ways, that 7 is a number of completion, and then that 8, 9, 10, maybe depending on how you view it, that 8 through King maybe is that next chapter. And so in many ways, this kind of harkens back to the crystal and chakra videos I was working on. The Ace and the 8 act as a beginning, right? So again, some ways this 7 is about a certain level of completion. You have your first crop here. You are digging down and seeing what's there, but then remember to come back out and plant what's next. Plan and plant what's next. And so that is a way we can tie these two together. Release your hold on the darkness. And be at cause. So that makes me think of be in the moment, align with your higher self, be at cause. What really is your purpose at this time? What's your new first step, right? So I'm just kind of rambling through tying these two together and how I might work those together in a reading. And hopefully this will make sense again when I'm able to show kind of a bigger spread and how I work through this. But this is an example. You know, I would have 4 wands and the 7 pentacles down, and then I tend to do again like a Romney sort of format, where then I make columns down from each card. So then I would have restore and replenish here, and then relax the hold on the darkness, and then I would have another tarot card and build these down. So I like to get real crazy. I might throw, I don't usually layer with a Lenormand Grand Tableau because there's a lot there, and that's just kind of my home playing field. That's what I really love. And so I kind of use tarot and oracle and other things kind of layered in there. I would throw astrology cards in here, all kinds of things like that. So I might do a Lenormand square, like a 9-card reading, and then put some tarot cards around it, match an oracle card to different tarot cards, and make this kind of picture frame around the 9-card spread. So anyway, again, hope I can figure out a way to show you some of those bigger spreads that I work with, but this is sort of building blocks up to that. So hopefully this mini series works in that way, and I can kind of show you how I use those. So let me do one more here that I can just show you one-on-one from the Tarot and Oracle. And I just picked these 2 decks randomly. I did give it a little bit of thought, but I just have all these bags of tarot cards that I rescued from my office a couple months ago. I had some at home, but we had moved at the very end of February, and throughout December and January, I took a lot more of my decks into the office because I didn't want to pack them. I have this weird thing about cardboard boxes, and I especially didn't want my tarot cards in there. And I knew I would just put them in a bag and move those all in my car instead of the moving truck. But even that, I just didn't, I was just getting really glitched out about packing my decks. And so I kept just taking another tote bag full of decks to work, which meant I had a bunch of decks at work. So anyway, I peeked around in my bags. We've been here since the end of February, but my tarot room is not set up yet. This looks sort of deceiving and orderly, but everything out here in front of me is chaos. But I did peek through the bags a little bit, and just based on what I knew the color themes were, I thought these decks sort of worked well together. And I just love mixing different decks together, as you will learn. So I just thought, I knew the blue and the burgundy of these, I was thinking about the backs, that these would be really nice together. So it was mostly random pairing these two together, but I did give it just a 30-second thought as I was digging through bags. So yeah, that's something I would suggest you do too. If you're looking to shake up your practice a little bit, if you want to start kind of pairing different decks together, maybe a tarot and an oracle, maybe you just want to layer different tarot decks together. That's just kind of my favorite thing to do. So, you know, see what you can pair together that maybe you wouldn't normally think about. Okay, so last one for this example, Two of Pentacles. And we have the person sitting on the wall here. I really love that imagery. Usually we have the person standing, usually in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, we have the person standing with the limnoscate. I don't know what it is really. But it's drawn around there, and the two pentacles balancing. So we have this same kind of setup, you know, the pentacles are in that same sort of shape, but we have the person sitting on the fence, which is this whole new way to think about the balance, right? There's the balance of the pentacles, and there's the forward and backward balance of balancing on that wall. So I really love this. And again, you can put all these together in like a panoramic and you see where the wall leads. So it's just really cool. But anyway, I'm focusing here on Two Pentacles, and let's see what we have to match with this little mashup from the Sacred Rebels. I should edge this Sacred Rebels. I need to get on that, and then I'll show you. Maybe that's my next project. Against the Grain. Okay, so this is nice because we have this water sort of energy, this water element here. So Two of Pentacles and Against the Grain. So when talking about Two Pentacles, I again would bring up that earth element. I would say, you know, there's a whole host of things that are suggested here. Home, our physical house, our sense of home, money and finance, work, career, all of that kind of thing. And Pentacles, what do we create with what we have? So whether that's money, time, energy, all of those sorts of things that we extrapolate from the physical realm. So physical, but also branching out from that. So Two Pentacles, I would say, is about balance and maybe decision making and problem solving, choosing between two paths, or deciding that you don't have to drop a ball. You can step forward with two aspects of this energy. Maybe you don't have to leave one of these things behind. You can take both with you as you go down this path, and maybe you just have to reprioritize some things and figure out how you can do both, how you can keep it all up in the air. Maybe it's a yes moment. Yes, I need to keep going with this. I just need to tweak some energies and figure out what to give more time to, how to spend more energy on one thing over the other. So in making that decision then, for the Oracle card, this is card number 4 in this deck, there's not anything necessarily to associate with the numbers in Oracle decks, unless of course the book details that the numbers do mean something, but for me, the numbers always mean something. I'm a numerology person, love reading pip decks. I'm all about that. So I always think the number has to mean something, even if the creator doesn't think so, right? They chose this as 4 for a reason, right? So again, with the 4, we think about stability, and that kind of brings me back to the earth energy, but I digress. So we have this person seemingly underwater swimming, but then there are also birds above. So it's kind of this mixture of elements here. Maybe reminds me of like the 2 of Swords with the water and the air element. So against the grain, I would say that with this 2 Pentacles, if there is a decision, you want to take the path that isn't so much going with the flow. The words on this card suggest that this person is swimming upstream, right? They're swimming against the tide. So maybe do the thing that people don't expect, or maybe choose the path that's pushing yourself a little bit. If there's an easy route and there's a route that's maybe a little more challenging, but maybe that's more exciting, go for that one, that against the grain. Whatever that one is that's sort of, oh, I don't know if I should do that. Maybe the hesitancy isn't a warning. Maybe it's just about kind of stepping out and taking that chance. So in this case, the Oracle card would help me guide the person to make the choice that goes against the grain. So that's a nice one, because that was the only sort of problematic one that would serve as like a question and answer. If I drew this alone and then they wanted a clarifier, well, I don't think I can do both things. I think I need to choose one. Then I might draw an Oracle card to help clarify, and then I would say, okay, make the choice that's going against the grain, right? The thing that your parents maybe aren't going to support, or the thing that your spouse maybe isn't 100% behind, or whatever that is. Not that it has to be a disagreement with someone, but I would say, oh, it's that thing that's really challenging, and maybe it's just your own expectation. I would say in that case, choose the path that you're kind of hesitant about, that isn't following the status quo. So hopefully all that rambling made sense. I don't think I can hold all of these up, but we'll try. So 4 Wands, 7 Pentacles, and the 2 Pence, and then restore and replenish. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. That sounds very witchy to me. I love it. These are backwards. I don't think you can even see all these, but we're gonna try. And against the grain, right? So this would be like a little 3 card with a layer, right? 3 tarot, 3 oracle, layered together, and seeing how those work. So hopefully this makes sense and isn't just me completely rambling. I think my son is occupied outside still with my husband, so I might try to pull another 2 decks real quick and see what we come up with. But for now, just wanted to say thank you for joining me. If you like what you see, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. And I will be back with more on the crystal and chakra mini series that I had started a few weeks ago, and will definitely be more contributing more to this idea about layering different cards, different systems in a reading, and kind of using these mashups as building blocks for larger spreads. So hopefully this is sort of helpful and maybe gives you an idea. If you work in your card practice, if you do any of these sorts of things and use different decks and layers, let me know. I would love to know what you use and how kind of crazy you get with your layers. And if you don't do that, let me know that too. I would love to just get to know what people's different methods are. If you're a really traditional reader, go ahead and tell me about that too, and let's just get the conversation started. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.